The problem with the world today isn't a lack of vision or dreams. It's a lack of wisdom. You see, most people will never have a real shot at achieving anything. And it's not because of what they can't do. It's because of what they won't do. Everyone loves the idea of achieving their dreams of health and prosperity, but none of them is willing to make the sacrifices necessary to achieve them. They actually believe they are who they need to be to achieve everything they want. They actually believe that nothing has to change about them to get there. If this was true, everyone would be exactly where they wanted to be in life without even trying. The truth is, achieving your dreams, whatever the goal, is a threefold journey you're embarking on. It's a journey of the transformation of the mind, the body, and the spirit. A journey that the world would see as extreme and unnecessary. The most important move anyone can make is to shut out the world's opinions and look at those who have done exactly what you wish to do and emulate them in every way possible. Every hard choice, every difficult sacrifice is a part of the evolution to become the person you need to be to achieve your goals, dreams, and not only to achieve them, but to be able to keep them. This journey is an evolution to become the greatest version of yourself. Welcome to the beginning of your evolution. Welcome to the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast. Yeah, Friday! Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you may be listening. Thanks for making me part of your day. This is episode 259 of the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast. Emotions are high. You know what? Let's get into this! Journey updates. It's an incredible day in my journey. 6 days. 6 years. 10 months. 4 days. Goal met. Goal met. 200 pounds down. 200 pounds down. $200.4 to be exact. Woo! Emotions are high, man. Emotions are high, and you know what? I have nothing planned. This is all raw. Oh my God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, for this moment. 6 years, 10 months, 4 days ago today, I sat in a workshop filling out a piece of paper with my clipboard in my hand. And the only thing I was thinking was I want to lose 200 pounds and reevaluate my life. That day, I did not truly believe that this day would come. I am not recording this on the typical day. It is November 15th. And I wanted to bring this emotion to you raw and uncut. Oh my God. It's the exhilaration that comes from this moment is literally indescribable. And nobody, nothing can ever take it away from me. No one will ever take this moment away from me. There are so many things that can come to my mind from the last 6 years. So many moments, so many people. This podcast began with a goal in mind to keep accountability, to keep me accountable, because I was sitting in workshops. And I was thinking I was above everyone else. Like there was nothing here for me. There was so much. I wanted so much not to feel that. I didn't want to feel that. So I didn't like it, and I immediately changed everything to like rack my brain of what I could do to bring accountability back. And I had always wanted to do something, some kind of content creation. I always wanted to make a podcast. And the Ranting Weight Watcher and my journey became the topic. Because it's easy to talk. It's easy to talk at a microphone when you know what you're talking about. It's easy when you're telling the truth to just speak. I don't know where you're at today. I don't know who's listening to me today. I don't know who's watching me today. Oh man, this is going to be difficult. But I have spent my entire journey removing emotion from everything. Because emotion in that moment was my enemy. Emotion caused me to give up so many times. So many times. There's just so much going through my mind right now. So much. This is probably going to be the worst organized podcast ever. Ever. There's special thanks. A special thanks goes out to Terry. Sometimes, in order to succeed in life, you need complete strangers to believe in you. Well, she was the first. I spoke to her this morning when I weighed in, and I hit my goal. I spoke to her when I hit my goal. She congratulated me. But thank you. Thank you so much for your belief in me. Thank you so much for talking me down when I was in emotional states. The studio days were very different. Very, very different. You were caught in the moment in front of people, you know? You step on that scale and the raw emotion of that moment, the raw anger of that moment, the raw jubilance of that moment was all in front of everybody. I'm so sorry. I did some crazy things. I have tested out some theories in crazy ways. And no matter how crazy they ever were, Terry supported them. Even if she didn't agree with him, she supported them. And some time went by, and we all experienced COVID. And that COVID sent us all home. And it introduced a new aspect to this journey. And like anything else, I used that aspect to my advantage. Virtual workshops were born in that time period. And because we were all stuck at home, because I was sitting in a house with a bunch of things and I was at a different mental part of my journey, a mental state of my journey, wanting to eat more often because I'm home, I decided to fill that need. Like the idea that I was hungry, no, let's go to a workshop instead. And I found workshops all over the country. And I concentrated mostly on the West Coast. Because the West Coast, it was 6 p.m. for them, but it was 9 p.m. for me. And it was right at a time that even if you know, it was at a time where I was searching for something, right? So instead, I filled that time with going to a workshop. And I had one for each week at that time. One for each night of the week, kind of a thing. Every day, weekday was taken. And then Saturday was dedicated to the virtual workshop with Terry from My Home People. But I had one Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think Friday was the only one I didn't do. I did whatever I needed to do to keep my mind off of eating extra food that I wouldn't ever have the desire for otherwise than the fact that we were all stuck at home. That seemed to be the reason, right? So I filled that time with workshops, and then national coaches were born. And I took my time and went to a bunch of different workshops and found Sophie. And Sophie's energy. I came to Sophie because she was the next one on the list. But Sophie's energy is what kept me there. She has this infectious energy. If I compare the coaches, with Terry, there is a motherly connection. It's almost like I feel like she's a parent. But with Sophie, there's such a bond of friendship with Sophie. I'm still very sad about not being able to have this moment with those people. But you know what? Maybe something's in the works. And I will be able to have that moment with those people. That Saturday morning crew was a special group of people. And that's why I always use this platform to promote that group. It was the same kind of group that, that showed up on Saturdays. There were a few people there too when we were in the studio. There were a few people on that Saturday that just gave me the same vibe, I'm so sorry with how this is all going today. Sitting here coughing, blowing my nose, all this, it's just... I can't even begin to tell you guys how this feels to be here in this moment. I'll probably feel this a different day for a different reason. Because I told you guys 200 pounds would be lost and then I would reevaluate my life. If I could define the first chapter of this journey, well, maybe it's not the first chapter. Maybe the first chapter of this journey was the surgery chapter. Maybe I have to see this all as a whole. Maybe the first chapter of the journey, because all of this encompassing made me the man I am today, made me the person I am today. It's all of those failures have to be a part of the story. And all of those failures prepared me for the chapter that began with Terry. The chapter for the quest for 200. So there's the surgery chapter and there's the 200 era, the chapter for losing 200 pounds. The surgery was pure desperation. If I could say that there was one word that would describe that, it was get this surgery out of desperation or you're probably going to die. 460 pounds is a dangerous weight, even though there are plenty of people that are higher than that. 460 pounds is a dangerous weight to be. And I was in a desperation attempt. I decided to get a surgery and was in no mental state to be prepared for the kind of success and how quickly it came. That pretty much sums up the surgery chapter of my life. And because I wasn't prepared, it also gave birth to an immense period of time that I failed miserably and undid everything that success created. 15 years of time of gaining it pretty much all back. I gained it all back except 57 pounds. I got as high as 403. I don't know how I go from 403 to 395, but I mean, I guess weight fluctuations are crazy, right? In 1 week time, I essentially go from 403 pounds to 395. 395 was the official weigh-in, first weigh-in at Weight Watchers. But 403 was the catalyst to make all of this, the enough is enough, right? When you come to the end of yourself, right? That morning of my birthday, my 41st birthday, January 4th, 2019, I step on the scale and see that I'm 403 pounds. And I finally come to the end of myself. A week later, I'm in a workshop. I step on the scale. I'm 395. 395.6 to be exact. The goal becomes lose 200 pounds and reevaluate my life. That whole 200 pounds journey, this whole 200 pound journey was defined by a desire to live for my daughter. To not leave her fatherless. To not leave her in a state that she would ever have to call some other guy dad. Every move I made over the past 6 years, 10 months, and 4 days has been to, you know what? It's crazy to say this, right? So that entire time was to add years to my life. That's what it was, really. The goal to add years to my life because I did not want to leave my daughter fatherless at a very young age, like I was left fatherless at a very young age. And now I sit here and I find myself having to, I'm sitting here all day on and off emotional, and I am reflecting, and I'm deciding now what happens next. Those 6 years of my life were designed to add years to my life. The next part of my journey is to add life to my years. That's not my quote. I'm not pretending that belongs to me. I heard that. That first part of this journey was to add years to my life. The next part of this journey is to add life to my years. Because what good is all this? What good is creating this scale result if I find myself at, 60, 70, 80, 90, and I can't get off the couch? Well, you all lost all this weight. Why wouldn't you be able to get off of the couch? There's no guarantees in life. And the one thing about muscle is if you don't use it, you lose it. So I'm going from adding years to my life to adding life to my years. And we're doing that by chasing body composition. In the next, I need some money, right? So I'll save up some money and I'll schedule another DEXA scan to see where I'm at. I'm not going to go by that first DEXA scan. Hopefully there's an improvement from that first DEXA scan, but if there's not, it's quite possible that there's not. Whatever it is, right? Now the next journey begins. There is no part of this that I stop and I'm maintaining, right? And this is not where I plan to be. I am just at the beginning, really. Because just because my scale number is 195.2 pounds, just because that's my scale number today, does not mean that defines health. I've tried to point this out to you guys so many times. A scale number is not indicative of healthy. We have been groomed to believe that by a system that is put in place to make sure you eat a certain way, get sick a certain way, and die a certain way. A scale number does not define health. So the next part of my journey, chasing body composition. Whatever that number, now the first time I ever got a DEXA scan, I was 28% body fat. Hopefully, when I get the next DEXA scan, it'll be less than 28% body fat. But whatever it is, let's say it's the same. Let's say it's worse. I don't know, but let's just say. It is possible that with all the fasting, I lost muscle. It is very possible. The fasting had its purpose, and I still plan to continue fasting. I don't plan to continue fasting on days that I'm trying to build muscle. It's going to be a very strategic approach, but I still plan to fast. But whatever it is, whatever that number is when I get that next DEXA scan, it's if it goes up, if it stays the same, whatever it is, that becomes the new baseline. And the next goal is going to be created based on whatever that is. So let's just say it's 28% still. The next goal is going to be to decrease that number, and maybe the big goal becomes 19%, but then we'll choose a bunch of percentages in between. And we'll see how this goes. Maybe 19% is unrealistic. I don't know. But I had a big goal in mind when I walked in to that studio on January 12th, 2019. And I'm going to have a big goal in mind because you know what? If you don't shoot for big goals, you fail, you fall, you succeed short, right? There's this whole mentality is don't shoot big, succeed with small things. I'm going to have a big goal and I'll have a bunch of small ones in between it to celebrate. And I'll have to come up with some kind of idea of how often. This is when Oh man, we've heard the term trust the process. Imagine what that's going to feel like if I'm only able to get a DEXA scan like twice a year. So I'll know if I'm progressing once every 6 months or so, right? I'm just throwing numbers out here, right? I'm just throwing numbers. Whatever that is, it is. Maybe I will aim to get the next DEXA scan. Maybe I'm just gonna maintain what I've been doing throughout the rest of this year. We'll start the new year with a big fast. Nice, we'll start the new year with a big fast, 72-hour fast, whatever. And then we're going to get the DEXA scan. And that's when it begins. That sounds good to me. I'm willing to do that. It's too much going on to try and implement new things at this time of the year. So we'll keep it status quo. We'll do everything as we've been doing it for the rest of this year. Beginning of the new year, we'll start with a big fast, 72 hours minimum. Maybe we'll even shoot for like 84 hours or 84 hours or more, right? So have maybe a 4-day fast. I've done 3-day fasts. The one thing I haven't done is beyond 3-day, right? So maybe we'll shoot for an 84-hour fast or more. What would that be? 96 hours, I think. 4 days complete would be 96-hour fast. Maybe we'll start the new year off with a 96-hour fast, or that would be the goal at least, with a minimum of 84. I had been doing 72 hours long enough to be able to say I could do an 84. But the goal would be a 96. We'll start the new year off like that. We'll get a DEXA scan, and then the plan is set in place based on the DEXA scan results. And then I'll really have to, trust the process will take on a whole nother meaning come 2026. To all the people who support me, thank you so much. You have made this journey something truly memorable and truly meaningful. You know, I was entertaining the idea of ending this podcast because 200 was the goal. And it was like the end of a story. But it was never going to go, I was never going to go away in the podcasting world. It was just going to be a new podcast. You know, maybe I come back as the ranting weightlifter. The ranting weightlifter. Oh, man. I don't know. It would be, I'm sure there are plenty of people that would say it'd be stupid to walk away from the following this is created, even if I'm going in a different direction. I'm not saying I'm going to end it. I'm not saying I'm not going to end it. But I'm never going away in the podcast space. So that's not something anybody has to worry about. It's just going to be something different, right? If the Ranting Weight Watcher still kind of fits with the adjustment of the goal. The Ranting Weightlifter sounds pretty cool, though. I'm not going to lie. Don't be surprised, okay? Don't be surprised if this ends because it's a complete story now and something new begins. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying it's in the back of my head right now. But thank you. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone for supporting me. Thank you to everyone for listening. Thank you for everyone who's been watching. The subscribership has gone up. The viewership has gone up definitely since this became a video podcast. I wish I could improve the quality of video, but it's okay so far. How do you guys like what I did to the mirror? There was a bunch of people that always made some comments like, "Oh, everything's great except for the Yankee logos behind you." You know, there's two kinds of people in the world. There are people who love the Yankees and everyone who cheers for their team and everybody against the Yankees, right? But I said to myself, how could I dress up, because the lighting in front of me was causing weird problems with the mirror behind me. So I feel like I love Christmas so much that wrapping the mirror in wrapping paper was a good idea, right? So that's essentially what I did. And I just draped some lights over the top of it. It's fun, right? It's a fun backdrop right now. And maybe what I'll do is I'll rewrap it with different stuff every, season, or maybe I'll just leave it Christmas all year long. Because Christmas is certainly in my heart all year long. With the new format, definitely came a new process, right? I can't really edit. I'm not going to sit here and edit all the ums and uhs out of my video podcast, because video editing is a whole nother ball of wax. So producing the podcast has dropped significantly, the time involved. Where I used to meticulously record, and edit, and it would be like a 4-day process. Now it's a 1 day, a couple of hours of my time, and I'm done. And I say, hey, whatever is not good is not good. Doesn't have to be perfect. It has certainly given me a bunch more time with my family. And it took away from the desire, because usually this time of year comes up and I'm considering taking a few weeks off. And I still might take a few weeks off come the, Christmas week and New Year's week. I mean, listen, nobody's thinking about, especially when Christmas falls this week, it's a little bit different. No one's going to be thinking a few days after Christmas to tune into the Ranting Weight Watcher. A few days after New Year's, tune into the Ranting Weight Watcher. No one's going to be thinking these things. So I may still take some time off just to, enjoy family. But it won't be from Thanksgiving. It won't be like a month like it was. Like last year, I did all this pre-recorded stuff so that I can enjoy the holiday season. But now with it only being 1 day a week and just sit here for an hour, producing something and then uploading it, there's no reason to take that time off. It has been a ride, man. It has been a ride. Crazy fluctuations define this journey. Then this would have been the first. So this loss this week, okay? And I didn't even give you all the other stats. Who cares? I think you know enough now about I'm averaging about between 35 and 40 miles walked per week. You know that I'm averaging somewhere between 10,000 and 13,000 steps per day. I mean, you know all this stuff. That's what consistency looks like. So one time of me not talking about it doesn't matter. Man, it's been a ride. If you watched I'm filming this on Saturday, right? So if you watched the walk talk from today, it was done pre-weigh-in. And I was already in this emotional state, man. I have been an emotional wreck. Emotional wreck. And not in a bad way. Just basically having no control over the emotions. So many things come to mind. All of this has to happen with the start, right? And a lot of you could ask me, what am I doing today? And when I tell you that my weekdays have days where I'm under 10 grams of carbs per day. I can't do that. You're going to think, I can't. When you start comparing what I do to what you do, you're going to be just talking about everything you can't do. But that's not how this journey goes. That's not how this journey goes. This journey starts by deciding, what can I do? What can I do? In August of 2019, when Coach Terry handed me that 50-pound charm, and I said there was that little voice in the back of my mind saying, you won't get another 50 without introducing exercise into your life. That was the first conscious moment where I decided, what can I do? I had many moments before that where I was deciding, what can I do? But really, it was more like, what am I willing to do? And that's really, all of the times I say I can right now, really is, what am I willing to do? That's what deciding can means. Because we are capable of so much more than we allow ourselves to be. So much more. But we have to be willing. So if you want to say the word can, and you want to say the word willing, that's the real truth of this. What am I willing to do? I'm willing to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, go outside, and walk around the parking lot and circle my parking lot for 20 minutes. That was my first decision. That was the first thing I decided I can do. I also decided how many days a week I can do it. But really it was, how many days am I willing to do it? How many minutes am I willing to do it? That's how it all works. Your moment exists. I'm not the only one. There's nothing special about me, the man you see on this podcast, the man that freaks out and is so inspirational and yells and screams in front of a microphone. Nothing special about me. I am simply a man who decided what I was willing to do. I decided to be organized by it. I'm willing to walk for 20 minutes a day, even if it's at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm willing to do that 3 days a week. And I'm willing to do that for the next 8 weeks. And at the end of that 8 weeks, I'm going to reevaluate. And then when that 8 weeks was over, I decided I was willing to up it to 45 minutes. Or add a fourth day. I'm sorry, I think it was add a fourth day. I added the fourth day for another 8 weeks. And then I added, there were so many stages, so many increments of 8 weeks. And it all comes to the point of you saying, what am I willing to do? That's all. It's that simple. It doesn't matter how imperfect it is. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, at the end of every day, if you could say, did I track today? Yes. Put the check in the box. Did I weigh and measure my food today? Yes. Put the check in the box. Did I move today? Yes. Put the check in the box. The accuracy of how those things happen doesn't matter until you don't even need to think about doing those first three things. The minute you are doing those things without thinking about it, the minute you aren't fighting yourself anymore, saying, oh God, I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it. The minute you're just doing it because it's Tuesday and that's the day I do it, that's when you can decide, now let's really hit the accuracy here. How can I improve this further? It's all got to start with, what am I willing to do? What can I do? And it doesn't matter how poorly you do it. It doesn't matter how imperfectly it ends up. It doesn't matter how inaccurate you are. It just matters that you do it in the beginning. And then when you could say, I'm doing this consistently, now let's get down to business and get more accurate. It takes an honest self-reflection in that moment. Okay? What do I do well? What don't I do well? What needs most improvement? What can I do today that will make tomorrow a better day than today? These aren't complex things. It's so simplistic that people would say it's not that easy. It can't be that easy. It can't be that simple. My journey is more, look, I have so many things. My journey's different. There are foundational aspects of every program. And those foundational aspects are put there for a reason, right? You can rely on those foundational things. At some point, you have to grow beyond the foundational. And you have to go above and beyond, as I spoke about last week. And you have to be willing in those moments to go above and beyond, even though everything in place is saying, no, this is it. This is all you need to do. Wash, rinse, repeat. The whole world will look at what you do and deem it extreme, unnecessary, call you crazy, because they live in a world designed to keep them where they are. And God forbid someone else proves that where they are is something they settled for, they're willing to stop that at all costs. So of course, if you're doing everything possible, going above and beyond to improve yourself, of course there are going to be a bunch of people around you saying, that's unnecessary. Dude, that's extreme. Listen, we need to really talk here. They're going to have this whole intervention thing in mind because they want to bring you back to mediocrity. But you know what? Excellence is going to sound crazy to like 99% of the people in the world. And that's why only 1% succeed. That's why 1% create all the success in the world, and the other 99 just live in the world that the 1% creates. So I want you to ask yourself now, really, let's really get serious. Let's really get serious. What am I good at? What am I not good at? What don't I do at all? What needs most improvement? What am I willing to do to change that? What am I willing? What can I do to make tomorrow a better day than today. And then you just do it. You just do it no matter how imperfect it is. It doesn't matter. Your perfection doesn't matter. It just matters that you do something. There has not been a single perfect day in 6 years, 10 months, and 4 days in my journey. Not a single one. You could believe that or you could not believe it. The choice is yours. I have nothing to prove anymore. My journey speaks for itself from this day forward. It's not the end of my journey. It's the beginning of the next mountain for me. But this part of my journey has come to an end, and it's proof that you can do anything you put your mind to. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.